For as long as we've looked up at the night sky, we've wondered, are we alone? In 1977, we may have received an answer. A mysterious signal from deep space that has never repeated and has never been explained. This is the story of the WOW signal and the question it left behind. Chapter 1. Introduction. The signal that shocked astronomy. It was a quiet summer evening on August 15, 1977. In a small data center in Ohio, something extraordinary happened. Something that to this day remains one of the greatest cosmic mysteries. As the massive Big Ear radio telescope scanned the skies, it captured a strange and powerful burst of radio waves. It lasted for just 72 seconds, and then it was gone, never to be heard again. When astronomer Jerry Ehman looked through the printed readouts days later, he circled a specific line of data and scribbled a single word in the margin. Wow. That one word became the name of the most famous signal ever received from space. The WOW signal. But what was it? A natural event? A technological glitch? Or could it have been something far more extraordinary? A deliberate message from an intelligent alien civilization. Today, nearly 50 years later, we still don't have a clear answer. But the story of the WOW signal continues to fascinate scientists, dreamers, and believers all over the world. In this video, we'll explore the discovery, the theories, the science, and the mystery behind one of the most puzzling events in the history of astronomy. Chapter 2. The Discovery. A strange message from the stars. To understand the WOW signal, we need to go back to the 1970s, a time when scientists were just beginning to seriously search for signs of extraterrestrial life. At the heart of this effort was the SETI project, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, which aimed to detect radio signals from distant civilizations. One of the tools used in this search was the Big Ear radio telescope, located at Ohio State University. Unlike the massive satellite dishes you might picture, Big Ear was a flat, rectangular installation built into the ground. It was designed to sweep across the sky as the Earth rotated, listening to radio waves from the stars. On August 15, 1977, Big Ear was scanning a region of space near the constellation Sagittarius when it picked up something extraordinary. A sudden, strong burst of radio waves coming from a specific point in the sky. The data was recorded as a string of numbers and letters, showing how intense the signal was over time. Most of the data looked like background noise, but then came this. 6EQUJ5, a code showing a massive spike in signal strength. When volunteer astronomer Jerry Ehman reviewed the data days later, he circled that code in red pen and wrote one word next to it: WOW. That one moment turned a routine scan of the sky into a scientific legend. Chapter 3. Why this signal was so special. So, what made the WOW signal stand out from the thousands of other signals recorded every day? For starters, it was incredibly strong. The 6EQUJ5 code isn't random. It shows the rising and falling intensity of the signal over time. In that code, U represents one of the highest possible levels Big Ear could detect. That kind of power didn't look like background noise. It looked deliberate. Even more interesting, the signal came at a very specific radio frequency, around 1420 megahertz. That frequency corresponds to the natural emission of hydrogen, the most common element in the universe. Scientists have long speculated that if aliens were to send a signal, they might use that frequency, since it's universal and easy to recognize. The signal also had a smooth curve, It rose in strength, peaked, and then faded. Exactly what you'd expect from something moving through Big Ear's field of view, like a beacon sweeping across the sky. But perhaps the most mysterious thing of all was this. The signal lasted 72 seconds, the exact length of time Big Ear could observe a single point in space. Not more, not less. After that, silence. No signal before, no signal after, and no one has ever detected anything quite like it again. For scientists, this wasn't just noise. It was a perfect match for what an intentional signal should look like. And that's what makes it so intriguing. Chapter 4: Natural Explanations and Why They Failed. After the initial excitement, scientists did what they always do. They looked for explanations. Could the WOW signal have been caused by something ordinary? A satellite passing overhead? A planet reflecting radio waves? A burst of energy from a distant star? Over the years, many natural possibilities were proposed. One popular idea was that a comet might have passed through the telescope's line of sight. Some comets release hydrogen as they move through space, and that hydrogen could emit signals near the 1420 MHz frequency. But there was a problem. The two comets that were later blamed, 266P Christensen and 335P/Gibbs, weren't even discovered until decades after 1977. And when astronomers checked their positions on the night of the WOW signal, they didn't match up. Another theory suggested it was a military transmission or interference from Earth, maybe even a signal bouncing off space debris. But if that were true, we'd expect to have seen more of them. Yet nothing like the WOW signal has ever been recorded again. Others argued it was just a glitch, a fluke, or a one-time burst from a natural cosmic source. But again, it showed every sign of being structured, focused, and intentional. In short, no natural explanation has ever fully fit the data. The signal remains a mystery, and that has led some to consider a much more exciting possibility. Chapter 5: Was it aliens? Let's be honest. When people hear about a mysterious signal from space, the first thought is often the most exciting: aliens. And in this case, it's not just science fiction fans who've asked the question. Some scientists, including those at SETI, have considered the alien hypothesis seriously. Why? Because the WOW signal checks all the boxes for what a deliberate extraterrestrial message might look like. It was brief, powerful, and on a frequency we'd expect. It had a clean shape, rising and falling like a beacon. And it came from deep space, far from known sources of interference. SETI researchers have long believed that intelligent civilizations, if they exist, might send out narrow-band radio signals to announce their presence. And 1420 MHz, the hydrogen line, has been suggested as the ideal cosmic calling card. In fact, before the WOW signal, scientists had already predicted that any alien message would likely be short, structured, and broadcast from a steady point in space. The WOW signal matched that idea almost perfectly. Still, there's one big problem. It was never repeated. Despite dozens of follow-up scans, using even more powerful equipment, nothing like the WOW signal has ever been heard again. That's the frustrating part. If it really was aliens, why didn't they follow up? Why not send another signal? Maybe they did. Maybe we missed it. Or maybe it was never meant for us at all. Chapter 6: What if it was a message? Let's imagine, for a moment, that the WOW signal really was a message from another civilization. What would that mean? First, it would change everything we know about our place in the universe. For centuries, humans have wondered if we're alone, and this would be the first proof that we're not. It would mean that, somewhere out there, Intelligent beings are watching the stars, maybe even searching for us, just as we search for them. But the signal was short. Only 72 seconds. No repeated message. No language. No clear content. So what kind of message would that be? Some scientists believe it might have been a ping, a simple signal sent out into space, like a flare in the dark, hoping someone is listening. Others suggest it could have been part of a beacon, a long-term signal that sweeps across the sky, repeating on a massive timescale. If that's the case, it could be decades or centuries before it passes Earth again. There's also the possibility that it was accidental, a byproduct of alien technology, the way our radar leaks into space. Either way, if it was a message, it means there is or was someone out there with the technology to reach us. And that's both thrilling and a little bit terrifying. Because if they're advanced enough to send such a signal, what else might they be capable of? Chapter 7. The Greatest Cosmic Mystery. Nearly 50 years have passed since that strange signal was recorded. In all that time, we've built better telescopes, launched deep space probes, and scanned billions of stars. Yet we've never detected anything quite like the WOW signal again. No repeated transmission, no confirmation. Just a brief, powerful whisper from the cosmos, and silence ever since. Some say it was nothing, just a glitch. A one-time event lost in the noise of the universe. But others, including many respected scientists, still believe it might have been something more. A cosmic handshake. A missed opportunity. A message from minds unlike our own. We may never know for sure. But the WOW signal continues to haunt the world of astronomy. Not because of what we know about it, but because of what we don't. And maybe, just maybe, one day, another signal will come. And this time, we'll be ready to hear it. The WOW signal lasted only 72 seconds. But its mystery has echoed for nearly half a century. Was it a message? Or just cosmic noise? We may never know. But the search continues, and the next answer might come when we least expect it. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, feel free to like the video and subscribe for more. The universe still has many secrets left to reveal.